Hello friends, Swivel Mentality with you. You ever lie in bed at night staring up at your ceiling? Maybe it's one of those glow-in-the-dark star sticker ones, maybe it's just boring old drywall, and you just feel different, like your brain is a superhighway and everyone else is on a one-lane country road. Today we'll talk about what people with high intelligence face: the good, the bad, and the just plain complicated. If you think you're super smart or just want to know what problems come with it, this video is for you. Let's go. And one of the weirdest things about being really smart is this feeling of always needing to know more. It's like being a kid in a library again. So many books, so little time. You crave knowledge, you devour articles and documentaries, but sometimes it's like trying to eat a whole cake in one sitting. You feel sick, overwhelmed, and ultimately unsatisfied. This, my friends, is information overload. It's that feeling of your brain being so full of facts and figures that it can't process anything else. And it's something that many intelligent people struggle with. You start to feel like you're drowning in data, unable to keep up with the constant influx of new information. It's like your brain is a computer that's constantly running out of RAM, struggling to keep up with all the tabs you have open. Ever feel like you're speaking a different language than everyone else? No, not like fluent Klingon or anything, though that would be cool. I'm talking about having these big, complex thoughts and ideas, but struggling to put them into words. It's like trying to explain quantum physics to a goldfish. They just stare at you with blank, uncomprehending eyes. This is one of the more frustrating problems of being highly intelligent, the difficulty of communication. You see connections others miss, you think several steps ahead, and sometimes simplifying things feels like dumbing yourself down. It can be incredibly isolating, leading to feelings of loneliness and frustration. So you aced that test, awesome, but did you really ace it? Should you have studied more? What if you just got lucky? If your brain immediately jumps to self-doubt and analysis, congrats, you're a contender in the overthinking Olympics. Smart people, myself included, are often plagued by this. We overanalyze everything, our actions, our words, even our thoughts themselves. It's like our brains are stuck in a perpetual loop of what-ifs and should-haves. This constant introspection, while potentially beneficial for self-awareness, can also be incredibly exhausting. It can make it difficult to relax, enjoy the present moment, and silence the ever-present chorus of doubts in our heads. You know that saying, perfect is the enemy of good? Well, for smart people, it's practically our national anthem. We fall into the trap of perfectionism, meticulously planning and researching, always searching for the absolute best way to do something. But here's the catch-22. The more we strive for perfection, the more daunting the task becomes. We become paralyzed by the fear of failure, of not living up to our own impossibly high standards. And so we procrastinate, we put things off, telling ourselves that we're just waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity. But deep down, we know that we're really just scared. Remember that feeling of being the only one who understood the joke, the subtle literary reference, the complex scientific theory? Yeah, that's the life of a smart person in a nutshell. Finding like-minded individuals, people who challenge and stimulate your intellect, can feel like searching for the Holy Grail. You crave conversations that go beyond small talk, discussions that delve into the depths of philosophy, science, art, whatever gets your brain buzzing. This lack of intellectual companionship can be incredibly isolating. You might find yourself surrounded by people, yet feeling utterly alone in your thoughts and interests. It's like being stranded on an island of brilliance, yearning for a connection that seems perpetually out of reach. See, here's the thing about knowing a lot. You become acutely aware of just how much you know. And you also realize how much is wrong with the world, how many problems need solving. It's like suddenly being able to see all the cracks in the system, all the injustices and inefficiencies. This awareness, while noble, can also be a heavy burden to bear. It's the curse of knowledge, the weight of understanding. You feel a sense of responsibility, an urge to make a difference, but the task can seem insurmountable. How do you even begin to fix a world that feels so broken? For smart people, even the simplest decisions can become agonizing exercises in overthinking. Should I order the pizza or the salad? Should I wear the blue shirt or the green one? The problem is, we see all the angles, all the potential outcomes, both positive and negative. It's like our brains are giant decision trees, branching out into an infinite number of possibilities. This can lead to analysis paralysis, where we become so bogged down in the details that we struggle to make any decision at all. It's exhausting, frustrating, and often leads to missed opportunities. We all have that little voice in our heads, the one that whispers doubts and insecurities. But for smart people, that voice can be particularly loud and persistent. We're our own harshest critics, constantly evaluating our performance, finding flaws even in our greatest successes. This relentless self-criticism can be incredibly damaging to our self-esteem. It can lead to imposter syndrome, where we doubt our accomplishments and fear being exposed as frauds. It's a constant battle against our own minds, a struggle to silence the negative self-talk and embrace our own intelligence. Have you ever tried to explain to someone that you can't just turn off your brain? It's like asking a computer to stop processing information, to just sit there and be blank. Our minds are constantly working, analyzing, connecting the dots, even when we're trying to relax. This can make it difficult to unwind, to fully engage in leisure activities without our thoughts drifting back to work, to problems that need solving, to ideas that need exploring. It's like our brains are wired for constant stimulation, and silence is simply not in our vocabulary. It's a strange paradox. You crave connection, but your intelligence can also be a barrier to forming meaningful relationships. People might perceive you as arrogant, aloof, or even intimidating. They might feel threatened by your intellect, unsure of how to interact with someone who seems to operate on a different level. This can lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness, a sense of being misunderstood and unappreciated. It's like being a rare bird, beautiful and unique, but unable to find a flock that truly understands you. When you're used to excelling, to being the smartest person in the room, it can be difficult to adjust your expectations. You set high standards for yourself, and rightfully so. But this can also lead to a constant feeling of never being good enough, of always striving for something more. You achieve one goal, only to immediately set your sights on the next, even loftier target. This relentless pursuit of excellence, while admirable, can also be exhausting and ultimately unfulfilling. It's like chasing a horizon that constantly recedes no matter how fast you run. Here's a secret. Even when we achieve something great, smart people rarely feel truly satisfied. There's always that nagging feeling that we could have done more, that it's not quite perfect, that there's room for improvement. It's like our minds are wired for constant innovation, for pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo. This can be a driving force for creativity and progress, but it can also be a source of frustration and discontent. We finish one project only to immediately start thinking about the next, bigger, bolder idea. It's a cycle of perpetual striving, a never-ending quest for something more. You ever feel like you're speaking a different language, even when you're speaking the same one as everyone else? This is a common experience for highly intelligent people. Our minds process information differently, making connections others might miss. Seeing patterns in chaos, this can lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and sometimes even ridicule. It's frustrating, to say the least, to have your ideas dismissed or, worse, mocked, because people don't grasp the complexity of your thinking. It's like trying to explain a symphony to someone who's deaf to music. It's a strange irony. We hold ourselves to high standards, which is generally a good thing. We strive for excellence, for knowledge, for making a positive impact on the world. But those same standards, when applied to others, can lead to disappointment and frustration. We expect others to keep up, to understand our thought processes, to share our thirst for knowledge. But the truth is, not everyone operates on the same wavelength. This doesn't make them lesser, just different. Learning to accept and appreciate those differences is a crucial step in navigating the world as a highly intelligent person. Do you ever feel like you're on the outside looking in, observing the world from a distance, never quite fully belonging? This sense of otherness is a common thread among highly intelligent people. Our interests, our passions, our way of seeing the world often diverge from the mainstream. We might find ourselves drawn to unconventional careers, quirky hobbies, intellectual pursuits that leave others baffled. This is not a bad thing. It's a testament to our unique perspective, our ability to think differently, to see the world through a different lens. Embrace your inner weirdo, your intellectual curiosity, and never be afraid to stand out from the crowd. These are interesting but sometimes difficult aspects of the lives of very smart people. It can be a lonely experience at times, but it's also important to remember that there's nothing wrong with being intelligent. In fact, it's a gift. Did you recognize yourself at some point? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, there's still a lot of interesting things to come.